Module 6 will get technical. We will learn how consensus mechanisms work and which are the most used by the main blockchains. When a bunch of computers keeps track of transactions simultaneously, they need to ensure everyone is writing down the same values. Otherwise, it would just be complete chaos. A consensus mechanism does just that. It's a set of rules that dictate how a bunch of computers validate each other's work. Everyone must have the same transactions written down to ensure no one cheats. Remember the math contest from Module 1, where a classroom tracks everyone's transactions and rewards those who processes the transactions? That is the proof-of-work consensus mechanism, invented by the creator of Bitcoin. Except it's not a math problem that miners are solving. The proof-of-work consensus mechanism consists in a bunch of computers rolling virtual dice as fast as they can. Whoever rolls a small enough number gets a reward and can choose what transactions to include in the block. Then, the miner transmits his block with his selected transactions to his neighbor nodes, who check for validity and propagate it further. The dice is the so-called hashing algorithm, where you input a number of any length and get a 64-character output. Changing the input by a single digit completely changes the output. There is no way to run the algorithm backwards, so you cannot start from a low hash number and get the initial numbers out of it. Proof of work works really well, but has one side effect. You end up with millions of computers running a gazillion computations per second just so one of them gets to run a series of blockchain transactions. The system becomes inefficient very fast, and it doesn't have to be that way. All this computational power translates into a considerable environmental impact due to high energy consumption. Enter proof of stake, which solves the inefficiency problem. Here, participants are not doing heavy computational tasks, but instead staking a set amount of Ether as a guarantee they are running transactions correctly. Validators may require a minimum of 32 ETH to be a staking participant. Whoever has that amount of liquidity has to send their funds to the staking contract and run a validating software on their home computer. Their job is to check if the latest block has any transaction tamper in it. As a reward for validating transactions, stakers receive approximately 4.5% upon their stake funds annually, which is roughly 1.4 ETH. At least it is higher than most banks' interest returns. However, if there is a power cut and their computer stops validating transactions, their 32 ETH will gradually get burned as a penalty. Even harsher penalties await if the validator makes a mistake in the validation process and lets a tampered transaction slip through. Stakers must balance the potential upside from staking their funds to the risk of losing ETH due to external situations. With Ethereum merging its consensus mechanism from proof of work to proof of stake, there are many concerns regarding this change. One of them is Coinbase, the second largest staker for Ethereum 2.0. With 15% of the market share, they have a massive control over the network, and monopoly power is never good for any market. Another concern is the way the new Ethereum merge is set up. As is stated previously, 32 ETH are required to be a staker, but over time, the price of Ether can potentially increase, meaning if 32 ETH are now worth $48,000 at $1,500, when the ETH price reaches its all-time highs again at $4,900, it will be worth now $157,000, setting up the network to whale stakers only. Now, since we're talking about the Ethereum merge, many people expect gas fees to be lower. That's why we will move on to the next module, where we will discuss gas fees.